Anyway, thanks to our buddies here at NOFO Brew Co. for letting us set up our first podcast.
No doubt. That's really cool.
Got a nice quiet afternoon to be able to do it in, and
for a few moments.
Yeah.
Because beers will start clinking, and
probably got an hour or two before we can let's get into it.
Where everybody knows their name. Well, what are we going to get into, man? I mean, you sent me the list of suggestions, and I honestly, I cracked up as soon as I started reading, just because what was it, general conversation about weed and grass?
Yeah.
And I was like, you're the only one I talked to.
Well, we can talk about what's going on.
I get it, but it was just kind of funny.
Since that's kind of our focus with our videos, we can just kind of talk about what's going on in the world right now of weed control and fertilization, I guess. And
yeah, I mean, it'd be smart to, be loyal to our source material. I see I'm getting stuck on the electric blinky in front of my face here. I'm as bad as the kids at the house.
That's all right.
Well,
one of the things we're having a problem with right now is poana. We've got some videos on YouTube about poana, right?
We do. Little pretty kitty laid out with po on the thumbnail and a couple other ones.
Yeah.
It's a fairly big subject.
So the problem we're having right now is it's still 60 degrees today.
Yes.
Right?
Again, back.
You put your
60. I put the radiator away, and so it's my fault. If you're caught out,
Georgia was going to throw another curveball at you.
This guy.
So it's almost June. We're past halfway through May now, and
which means we're halfway through the time for our subscription campaign, which we picked up another subscriber today. We are at 39. So hit that subscribe button, folks. Beat it like a stepchild, if it's still okay to do that.
But be careful.
Be whatever it's okay to be.
Let's don't get into the abuse.
Yeah. And don't expect a whole lot of PC, at least from this side of the lens, because I don't have it. I'd just be lying to you to try.
Yeah, this is going to be the unabridged version of what you see on YouTube. So we're just going to roll with this conversation. So we'll talk about the POA. We're here. So we're almost to June, right?
Correct.
We put Preemergence down August through October.
That's
for what you see now.
Wow.
So the best product that we put down, you'll see in the videos, is $1,400 a gallon, right?
Right.
And it only guarantees about 6 months. So we're 9 months past that pre-emergent at this point, and it's just run its course. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it unless you mitigate some of what you see in the early time frame of the year, and that even has run its course. So we're 5 months past that point. So pre-emergence have just for poana have just run their course, and we're struggling with it now. Like you said, you put the radiator in the basement. Now it's cold again.
Flippo.
We've got to have constant 80-degree weather. We had a few days where we were 80 degrees, and it started knocking it out. But here we go again with another 60-degree day, and we're going to barely get to 75 degrees over the next week, and it's just going to keep hanging around. And we're almost to June. We should be in 85-degree weather constantly right now.
Should be. I mean, yesterday I was working on the truck and I fairly glistened.
Now it's great to work in. Our guys are loving to be able to work in it, but we keep getting calls.
Stay cool and keep doing the labor, but that's not helping what you work on.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
But in any event, it's helped us get through some of our programs that we get started that are a little more labor intensive. Being this cooler weather, it's helped a little bit getting them motivated to get out there and knocking it out pretty quick before the hot weather got here. But it's causing us a little aggravation on the back end, but we'll deal with it. We're used to Georgia weather, and we'll keep putting post-emergence down and knock it out the best we can.
Through.
It'll be gone soon enough. Point is, it'll be gone soon enough. Just be patient. Be patient with us. Be patient with whoever your current lawn care provider is, and it'll be gone.
How's the hiring front going? Put out a notice, what, almost 2 weeks ago. Is that you get any fruition out there? You getting some good, you know,
well, we're
labor force in there to?
Yeah, we're trying to be smart with things right now. The economy is
What it is.
It depends on which news channel you listen to. It depends on which forecaster. We're going to err on the side of caution, so we're not doing a whole lot of hiring right now. But we've got a good crew. We got a solid base to get done what we already have in place, and we just hired a new guy actually for a sales position.
Is that the tall fella, rather rugged, good look, maybe bearded?
Yeah, Yellowstone kind of look to him.
Yeah, maybe, there you go. Okay, so, no, that'll work just fine. Yellowstone kind of look to him.
Yeah, a little Yellowstone reference here on the podcast.
He's in an Alp shirt while I was grabbing the barrels.
So that's Chris, and he comes from the pest industry. He's been selling for a competitor for about 7 years, and we were lucky enough to snatch him up, and he's already well on his way of digging up leads. And so that was one of the things, since we were kind of in this lull of what's really going to happen with the market. And weed control and fertilization is one of those things that is an expense that is not a necessity, it's a convenience, right? And when expendable income is questioned, it's one of the first things that they start shopping hard, or they just totally get rid of.
That weekly deal.
Yeah.
That we've already warned them not to fall for.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Foolish people.
So we're just going to err on the side of caution and kind of look to growing our business through him and our marketing efforts through YouTube and Facebooks and whatever it may be, and we'll grow consistently. We've already seen some uptick in business because of introducing him to the market to our
really? That
team.
fast?
Yeah.
That's nice.
So it's a pleasant surprise. Pleasant that the decision to hire him is turning out the way it should be, and not a surprise. We always thought he would do a good job, and he already is.
Cool.
But to your point, or to your question, I think that we don't have the big headache right now that we're looking to hire people, because we're not really searching for people. Now we're searching for good people.
Sure.
That are looking for a better opportunity. So we will add people if it's a perfect fit.
Always accepting applications.
Always accepting applications. If perfect fit comes along, we'll make an addition and put it there. But for right now, we're going to hold steady. I think that's kind of where a lot of people in our industry are. We got in a habit in the past, and it was a mistake just being a young entrepreneur and a naive entrepreneur that, when the business hit, you just hire, try to hire what you can, and cover all the business you can. But really, we've finally learned that, if they really want to be our customer, they'll let us take a breath and work them in the best we can. And if they're in a hurry, then we probably don't want them to be a customer, and we don't need to make any rash decisions, knee-jerk decisions of hiring people or buying equipment or customizing our products just to satisfy that one customer. I know we want all the customers we can, but from an economical standpoint, it just doesn't make sense to try to please every new person in the market. Is
not in survive.
Right.
Not to be anything to depend on.
And we've noticed we went through a transition over the past few years of where we were looking hard at our customer base about who or what was creating the most resistance in the system, from a customer and within our company. And we made adjustments, and and made some forced decisions to either get rid of that customer base or get rid of that employee or whatever it may be within the system that was creating the biggest headache. And it goes back to the old 80-20 rule in business, where 20% of your customer base or your employees are going to create 80% of your problems or take 80% of your energy and so on and so forth. And it is true in about almost every application. And those 20% that were taking a lot of our energy and time and are not the profitable ones. So we narrowed it down to those 80% that were profitable, and we shed a little bit, start over a little bit, and it's become a good decision in the long run. It takes a little revenue away initially. But if you back up, punt a little bit, and get back to your business plan, and all things tend to work out and your revenue will increase, and we're seeing a little bit of that now.
Now, I mean, yeah, all that kind of goes to, well, no, it absolutely goes to just the words.
Words and things are tough to come by these days, you know.
They are so, but just, you know, the
public education, we can save that for another time.
Yeah, no, I do have that. But just your, like your legacy, it's not the right word, but to give the term of like, it's a long time for your investment to bear its fruit and for your planning and your strategy to, you know, develop into a successful fruition. I'm sure Sun Tzu's got something to say about it, or Machiavelli, but
Confucius says.
Yeah. I mean, you see how confused I am all the time. So it can, it bears. But something that, for me personally, to observe, like, known you like about 6, almost 7 years now, I guess.
Sounds about right.
And probably saw first alpha faces, not super long after that, maybe 5 years, something like that. And I can point out like at least 3 that, you know, I recognize from there. So they've been there that long. That's pretty good retention to have them in this business, because it's like, I think, you know, I've been in lawn care. Again, I feel so embarrassed to use the word to express what I did, but I've been in grass cutting, 2 different companies, and then, but it kind of like the food industry, seasonal work. You know, it's just fast, mass, meat, hoof on the ground, turning the labor, and gone the next day. It's a carnival environment. A lot on the whole, and so then what I believe I've seen is like you resisting that tide have succeeded through that. I mean, you know, you've got your partner Adam. You got Bam, you got the young lady I see out there working the yards, you've got the older fella, I remember them so well, I don't know their names.
Yeah, but Richard probably.
Probably.
Yep, we've had Corey and Richie with us for a long time.
And the guy that we were working with on the treatment shoot with the boonie hat.
Wes has been with us for a minute, and he came back to us about 3 years ago.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, he was with us for a couple of years spraying, and he came back and did some pest control, has done some sales, and he's kind of a universal tech for us now, doing a little bit of everything.
So I'm all that to say is like, I think you're doing a good job of it. To have that kind of retention in this type of industry, this type of commerce, it's not a regular or everyday thing.
Yeah, it's tough.
Kudos.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But it's tough getting past being chuck in a truck. And it's kind of it's kind of the terminology they use. There's a lot of chucks in a truck out there, and you know they're your guys that blow and go from April to October, and maybe do some leaves in the fall, and they're out there at $40 a pop mowing yards. And when you're talking about employing people and workers' comp and general liability and paying for new trucks, and it becomes a big burden, labor burden, and you can't compete with chucking a truck. And that brings me to another topic we can talk about, actually. Segue.
There we go.
About insurance. Georgia is one of the worst. I think, don't quote me on this, but from what I've told, it's the second or third worst state in the nation for insurance rates.
I believe that. I went through, just in personal insurance, I went through a heck of a hunt first of the year, so I can't even begin understand what commercial might be.
We hired a kid, and we were hoping for big things from him, and he had one ticket. He's 25 years old. He had one ticket 2 years ago, and our insurance wouldn't cover it. Granted, it was 23 miles over the speed limit, but it was one ticket. In a scenario 5 years ago, he would have been no problem to drive. But one ticket at 25 years old, he was not able to be covered under our insurance. And that creates a problem for us, because some of this stuff is a young man's game.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I was stupid as hell.
Oh, I was so blessed to do everything before laws.
Yeah. And at 20 years old, I don't know. I don't understand anything other than where that thing is going, you know. But, and 25 years old, you got one ticket. You can't be insured by a company unless you're just this big grandiose company that can afford to pay these high rates. But you know, when we're paying $25,000 a year already for insurance, and then you got one person that comes in, you got to pay an additional $4 just to have them drive one truck. But my point is, Georgia being such a hard state on insurance companies provides a challenge for companies like us that are still a small fish in a big pond, and need young labor to perform some of these tasks. It becomes almost near impossible, and you know, it comes down to our legislators. Most of our legislators are lawyers. I don't want to know if I want to use this term or not, but I will, I guess. Doesn't
Why
matter.
not? It's your podcast.
You know, you got a lot of ambulance chasers that are making laws in our state legislature, and they don't want to make changes that are beneficial to one of the biggest employer in the state, is small businesses.
Right.
They're more worried about their paycheck rather than the guys that actually employ their sons, or that employ their friends. Their friends' kids, you know, for at least a short term. Yeah, I mean, this is not, I wouldn't necessarily say that riding a mower is a long-term gig for somebody, but you know, a kid just out of high school, it's a good profession to get a little change in your pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, hell,
two students moving or whatever, all of those.
Hell, effectively the pay is $15 to $20 an hour to ride a mower now or hold a weed eater.
Man,
so, I mean,
before my 30s, and you know, occasional management jobs aside, I was throwing labor all over the place. Grocery, construction, hammer, boxes, lawn care, crikeys. Because it was easy to sweat when you're young, you know, and somebody will throw, and it was usually the highest walk-in money that there was. Now back then, you know, I'm talking like $8 an hour, as opposed to $3.35 an hour. If you wanted air conditioning, you were going to get $3.35. If you wanted to sweat, you can get $8. Or management in like food industry and stuff. So for me, that was pizza, because that was what was the easiest door to walk into every revolving time I ever did. And I could go from $3.35 an hour to $27,000 a year in like 3 months, or a couple of cases just walk right back in to the salary. But that particular niche of availability to me, it was labor. And you know, you hit that $8 to $10 mark, man, you're paying for an apartment, you got a car payment, you got utilities paid, and you're still playing and partying because you're not smart enough to do investment and savings at that time. Yep. Would have been great by this point.
Yep.
But yeah,
hindsight's a bitch.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm waiting for all the kids to realize that. No, I'm really not. I'm not waiting for the kids to realize anything. I'll be too old to care by that point. But yeah, it's a young man's game. That's the nature of the business and the beast. And systems, man, systems have never. Oh God, they've never really been long-term helpful. And when you're talking about insurance, man, I'm Irish. We Sicilians have nothing on us. The Sicilians learned everything about organized crime from the Irish, dude. And we were in racketeering way back in the day when we were fucking robbing chipmunks and British soldiers, you know. The VIG and the protection racket is pretty steep. Yeah. And that's all mandatory insurance is.
Yeah.
It's just a protection racket. And so, yeah, it's never to your benefit. It will always be framed and structured to glean and clip you for more and more. It's a death of 1,000 cuts. Yep. That is Sicilian. Irish aren't patient enough to do that. Yeah, 1, 2, fuck it, let's go drink. So we move a little faster that way. Yeah. But that's all that's ever been. And not to get on my own little tirade stump there about it, but to agree, you're absolutely correct. It's not there. You just set that right there.
River.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, a lot of activity going on.
That's
here.
our little river inserting herself in the video here. She already said she wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
God, it's a pretty good milkshake.